In a night already packed with anticipation, flashing cameras, and Hollywood's biggest names, something unexpected happened that instantly shifted the spotlight, and no one saw it coming. Just seconds after Timothée Chalamet stepped onto the scene, all eyes turned, not just to him, but to the woman beside him. Kylie Jenner didn't just arrive, she stunned, she commanded, and she quietly rewrote the narrative of the entire evening. Before we dive deeper into what really went down that night, make sure you stay with us until the end, because there's one subtle moment, almost missed by cameras, that's now sparking massive debate across social media. From the very beginning, the energy felt different. This wasn't just another celebrity appearance. This was a statement. As Timothée Chalamet made his entrance, known for his bold fashion choices and unpredictable presence, fans expected him to dominate headlines. But within moments, something shifted. Kylie Jenner, stepping out in a look that instantly ignited online searches for Kylie Jenner outfit, Kylie Jenner red carpet, and Kylie Jenner style 2026, effortlessly became the center of attention. Her appearance was calculated yet effortless. The elegance, the confidence, the timing, it all aligned perfectly. And while the cameras flashed, capturing every angle, it was the chemistry between Kylie and Timothee that truly set the night apart. Observers quickly began analyzing their body language, their subtle glances, and even the smallest gestures, turning what should have been a routine appearance into one of the most talked about celebrity moments of the year. What made this even more compelling was the context. In recent months, both Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet have been at the center of intense public curiosity. Their relationship, often described as unexpected, has consistently fueled headlines, trending topics, and endless speculation. Keywords like Kylie Jenner-Timothée Chalamet relationship, Kylie Jenner boyfriend, and Timothée Chalamet girlfriend have surged across search platforms, and this night only added more fuel to the fire. But here's where things take an interesting turn. As the night progressed, something subtle yet powerful began to unfold. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But for those paying close attention, it was undeniable. Kylie wasn't just attending, she was supporting. Every glance toward Timothee, every moment she stayed just slightly behind or beside him, created a narrative that felt intentional. Supportive, but never overshadowed. Present, but never overpowering. And that balance? That's what people can't stop talking about. Midway through the event, social media began exploding. Clips started circulating, slowed down, zoomed in, analyzed frame by frame. Fans pointed out one specific interaction, a brief exchange between Kylie and Timothee that lasted only a few seconds, but carried an energy that felt deeply personal. Was it a whispered comment? A reassuring gesture? Or something more meaningful? No one knows for sure. But the mystery is exactly what's driving the conversation. Search terms like Timothée Chalamet Kylie Jenner moment, Kylie Jenner supports Timothee, and celebrity couple chemistry began trending almost instantly. And with each passing minute, the intrigue only grew stronger. Then came the turning point, the moment that solidified everything. As Timothée Chalamet took center stage during one of the most important segments of the night, the camera briefly cut away. And there she was. Kylie Jenner, watching. Not posing. Not performing. Just watching, with an expression that felt genuine, focused, and completely in sync with the moment. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. But it felt real. And in an industry often criticized for being overly curated, that authenticity hit differently. That single shot, lasting no more than a few seconds, has now become one of the most replayed clips from the entire event. Fans are calling it the moment that changed everything. Analysts are dissecting it. And media outlets are already labeling it as a defining image of their relationship. But the real payoff? It's not just about what we saw. It's about what it represents. Because in that moment, Kylie Jenner wasn't just a global icon, a business mogul, or a reality TV superstar. She was something else entirely, someone present, supportive, and fully engaged in someone else's spotlight without needing to take it for herself. And Timothee? He didn't need to say anything. The connection spoke louder than any headline ever could. As the night came to a close, one thing became clear: this wasn't just another celebrity appearance. It was a shift in perception. A redefinition of how power couples operate in the public eye. And perhaps, a glimpse into a dynamic that continues to evolve in ways no one can fully predict. So now the question remains, what happens next? Because if this night proved anything, it's that every move they make will continue to be watched, analyzed, and talked about across the world. If you found this breakdown insightful and want more deep dives into the biggest celebrity moments, make sure to stay connected, follow for updates, and don't miss what's coming next, because the story of Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet is far from over. And just when it seemed like the conversation had reached its peak, another layer began to unfold, one that few initially noticed, but quickly became impossible to ignore. Because behind the flashes, behind the carefully curated appearances, and beyond the viral clips, there was a deeper narrative quietly taking shape. And it all centered once again on Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, two names that, individually, already command global attention, but together have become something far more unpredictable. As more footage from the night surfaced, fans began stitching together a timeline of their interactions. Not just the obvious moments, but the in-between seconds, the transitions, the pauses, the unguarded reactions. It was in these fragments that a new perspective started to emerge. There was a moment, barely half a second long, where Timothee appeared to lean slightly closer toward Kylie just before stepping forward. It wasn't exaggerated. It wasn't meant for cameras. But it was there. And in today's hyper-detailed digital culture, that's all it takes. Suddenly, discussions shifted from what they wore to how they moved. From fashion analysis to emotional interpretation. Viewers weren't just watching anymore, they were decoding. And that's where the tension began to build again. Because for every fan who saw authenticity, there were others who questioned it. Was this genuine support? Or was it a perfectly timed public image? Was Kylie Jenner redefining her presence in Timothée Chalamet's world, or was this simply another evolution of celebrity storytelling? The divide only fueled more engagement. Online forums lit up. Comment sections doubled in activity. Keywords like real or staged, celebrity PR relationship, and Kylie Jenner acting or real began climbing search rankings. The curiosity wasn't fading, it was multiplying. But then, another detail surfaced, one that shifted the tone entirely. A behind-the-scenes angle, captured from a distance, showed Kylie Jenner during a quiet moment when she likely believed no cameras were focused on her. No dramatic pose. No awareness of being watched. Just a brief, unfiltered reaction as Timothée Chalamet interacted with others nearby. And what stood out wasn't what she did, but what she didn't do. There was no attempt to insert herself. No effort to redirect attention. She remained still, observant, composed. And in that stillness, many viewers saw something that contrasted sharply with her public persona. Restraint. That single detail has since sparked a new wave of interpretations. Some are calling it growth. Others see it as strategy. But regardless of the perspective, one thing is certain, it added depth to a narrative that initially seemed surface level. And just when audiences thought they had a clear read on the situation, another twist emerged. A lip-reading clip, unconfirmed, yet widely circulated, claimed to capture a brief exchange between Kylie and Timothee during one of the quieter segments of the evening. While the exact words remain speculative, the tone, the timing, and the body language have become the latest focal point of analysis. Was it reassurance? Encouragement? Or something far more personal? the ambiguity is what's keeping people hooked. Because in a media landscape where everything is often overexplained, overexposed, and overproduced, moments that remain just out of reach feel more valuable than ever. And that's exactly what this night delivered. A sequence of events that felt complete, yet somehow unfinished. Clear, yet open to interpretation. Public, yet strangely intimate. As discussions continue to evolve, industry insiders are beginning to weigh in. Some suggest that Kylie Jenner's presence marked a deliberate shift in how she navigates high-profile events. A move away from being the center of attention toward something more nuanced, more controlled, more intentional. Meanwhile, Timothée Chalamet's composure throughout the night has also drawn attention. Known for his artistic persona and selective public appearances, his comfort in this setting, alongside Kylie, has raised new questions about how their dynamic influences his own public image. Are they balancing each other? Or are they redefining each other? That question remains unanswered. But if there's one thing this night has proven, it's that their story is no longer just about two individuals crossing paths. It's about the space they create together, and how that space is perceived by millions watching from the outside. And perhaps the most compelling part? We still don't have the full picture. Because even now, new angles are emerging. New clips are being shared. New interpretations are forming. The narrative isn't slowing down, it's expanding. Which brings us to a moment that hasn't fully gone viral yet, but might. Toward the very end of the evening, as the crowd began to disperse and the energy shifted from high intensity to quiet conclusion, there was one last interaction. Subtle. Brief. Almost hidden within the chaos of movement and fading lights. Kylie Jenner turned slightly toward Timothée Chalamet, just for a second. No cameras zoomed in. No dramatic music. Just a glance. And he responded. Not with words. Not with a gesture meant for the public. But with something that felt understood. It's a moment that's easy to miss. But for those who catch it, it changes everything. Because sometimes, the loudest statements are the ones that aren't spoken at all. And as the world continues to replay, analyze, and debate every second of that night, one truth becomes increasingly clear. This isn't just a passing headline. It's an unfolding story. One that blends mystery, perception, and emotion in a way that keeps audiences coming back, not for answers, but for the possibility of discovering something new each time they watch. So as speculation grows and curiosity deepens, the real question isn't what happened that night. It's what it meant. And whether what we saw was just a moment, or the beginning of something much bigger. And just when the narrative felt like it had reached its most revealing point, something even more intriguing began to take shape, something that didn't rely on a single clip, a single glance, or even a single interpretation. It was the pattern. Because as more angles surfaced and more reactions poured in, audiences began to notice a consistency in how Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet moved throughout the night. Not just physically, but emotionally. There was a rhythm to their presence, an unspoken coordination that felt too precise to be accidental, yet too natural to be scripted. And that's where the conversation took a deeper turn. Instead of asking what happened, people started asking, why does it feel this way? Because every major public moment usually has a clear focal point. A highlight. A headline. But this time, it wasn't just one thing. It was everything in between, the micro moments that didn't demand attention, yet somehow held the most weight. At one point, as the crowd shifted and the energy in the room subtly changed, Timothee adjusted his posture, just slightly. It wasn't dramatic. Most wouldn't even notice. But Kylie did. And her response was immediate, almost instinctive. A small shift. A quiet alignment. Again, nothing obvious. But not nothing. And suddenly, viewers weren't just watching a couple, they were witnessing a dynamic. That realization added a new layer of tension. Because dynamics are harder to define than moments. They evolve. They reveal themselves slowly. And most importantly, they can't be easily controlled. Which brings us to something even more fascinating. The silence. In an environment dominated by noise, cameras clicking, people talking, music playing, the moments between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet were often defined by what wasn't happening. No exaggerated reactions. No over-the-top displays. Just presence. And that presence? It started to feel intentional. Some analysts have begun to describe it as a controlled calm, a way of navigating chaos without becoming part of it. Others believe it reflects a deeper level of comfort, one that only becomes visible when two people are no longer performing for the outside world. But here's where things get complicated. Because the more natural something appears, the more people question it. Is it real? Or is it the most effective performance of all? That question has now become central to the ongoing discussion. And it's not being answered, it's being expanded. Frame by frame, clip by clip, the narrative keeps growing. A slowed-down video reveals a near-simultaneous movement, both Kylie and Timothee turning their attention in the same direction before anything visibly happens. Coincidence? Or connection? Another angle shows a brief pause before they separate to interact with others, a pause that feels almost like a silent check-in. Intentional? Or instinctive? No one can say for certain. And that uncertainty is exactly what's keeping audiences engaged. Because in a world where everything is often explained instantly, something that resists clear definition becomes magnetic. And then, just as the analysis reached a new level of intensity, a completely different perspective entered the conversation. Body language experts. Clips began circulating with overlays, annotations, slow zoom-ins. Observers pointed out posture mirroring, synchronized pacing, and what they described as subtle emotional anchoring. Terms that sound technical, but when applied to real moments, feel almost cinematic. According to some interpretations, Kylie Jenner wasn't just supporting Timothée Chalamet, she was stabilizing the space around him. Creating a kind of quiet consistency amid an otherwise unpredictable environment. Others disagreed. They argued that Timothee's calm demeanor was setting the tone, and Kylie was adapting to it, blending into his rhythm rather than defining it. Two completely different readings. Both convincing. And neither fully provable. Which only deepens the intrigue. Because now, the story isn't just about them, it's about how we see them. Perception becomes part of the narrative. And that's where the real tension lies. Not in what happened, but in how it's being interpreted. As the night continues to be dissected, one detail stands out more than any other, not because it's obvious, but because it keeps reappearing in different forms. Timing. Every interaction between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet seemed to happen at just the right moment. Not early. Not late. Precisely when it needed to. Whether it was a glance, a shift, or a pause, the timing felt aligned. And alignment is difficult to fake. It requires awareness. Sensitivity. A level of connection that goes beyond surface-level interaction. Which brings us to a possibility that many are beginning to consider. What if what we're seeing isn't performance? What if it's familiarity? Not the kind built for cameras, but the kind developed away from them. Quietly. Gradually. Without an audience. That idea changes everything. Because it reframes the entire night, not as a spectacle, but as a glimpse. A glimpse into something that exists beyond the clips, beyond the headlines, beyond the analysis. And yet, even with that perspective, the mystery remains. Because glimpses are incomplete by nature. They show just enough to spark curiosity, but never enough to fully satisfy it. And maybe that's the point. As the conversation continues to evolve, new questions are beginning to surface. Not about what Kylie Jenner wore, or how Timothée Chalamet performed, but about what their presence together represents in a broader sense. A shift in celebrity culture? A move towards subtlety over spectacle? Or simply a moment that feels bigger than it actually is? No clear answers. Only more layers. And just when it seems like the narrative might start to slow down, another clip emerges. Another angle. Another interpretation. The story resets. But the interest doesn't. Because at its core, this isn't just about two people at an event. It's about the space between certainty and speculation. The tension between what's seen and what's felt. And the realization that sometimes, the most compelling stories are the ones that never fully reveal themselves. So as the world continues to watch, analyze, and revisit every second of that night, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. We're not just witnessing a moment. We're participating in it. Every view. Every comment. Every theory adds another layer to a narrative that's still unfolding in real time. And maybe, just maybe, that's why it's so hard to look away. Because deep down, everyone is waiting for the same thing. Not just the next moment, but the meaning behind it. And just when it seemed like every possible angle had already been explored, a new wave of attention began building, not from what was clearly visible, but from what felt almost hidden in plain sight. Because as audiences revisited the footage again and again, something unusual started to stand out. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. But it carried a weight that was impossible to ignore. It was the consistency of presence between Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, a quiet, steady connection that didn't need constant reinforcement, yet never seemed to break. And that's where the narrative took yet another turn. Instead of focusing on isolated highlights, viewers began connecting dots across the entire night. From arrival to departure, from crowded moments to quieter transitions, a pattern of subtle synchronization continued to appear. There was a sequence, barely noticeable at first, where the environment around them became chaotic. People moving in different directions, flashes firing rapidly, voices overlapping. And yet, within that chaos, Kylie and Timothee moved with an almost measured calm. Not slow. Not disconnected. Just aligned. At one point, as someone approached Timothee for a brief interaction, Kylie didn't step forward or pull away. She remained exactly where she was, close enough to be present, distant enough to allow space. It was a balance that's difficult to define, but even harder to execute without awareness. That moment, though small, began circulating among viewers who pay attention to behavioral detail. And once again, interpretations began to multiply. Some described it as emotional intelligence. Others called it strategic awareness. But regardless of the label, it reinforced a growing idea. Nothing about their dynamic felt accidental. And that realization brought a new level of tension to the story. Because when something appears intentional, people naturally begin to question the intention behind it. Was this a conscious effort to reshape public perception? A way of presenting a more grounded, less performative image? Or was it simply the result of two individuals who have found a rhythm that works for them, regardless of how it's perceived? The answers remain just out of reach. But the questions? They're getting sharper. As the night's timeline continued to be reconstructed online, one specific detail started gaining traction, a recurring pause that seemed to happen before nearly every transition. Before moving from one space to another, before engaging with others, even before stepping into direct camera view. A pause. Short. Subtle. But consistent. And in those pauses, something unspoken seemed to pass between them. No gestures. No words. Just awareness. That detail, once noticed, became impossible to ignore. It added a layer of depth that transformed the entire narrative from a sequence of events into something more fluid, more connected. And then, just as viewers thought they had identified the defining pattern, another unexpected element entered the conversation. Distance. Because while much of the focus had been on how close Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet appeared, there were also moments where they created space between them. Not separation, but space. And interestingly, those moments felt just as intentional as the ones where they stood side by side. In one clip, Timothee moves slightly ahead while Kylie lingers behind, engaging briefly with someone off camera. The separation lasts only seconds, but when he slows down, she closes the gap again, effortlessly, without urgency. That ebb and flow, connection and space, presence and independence, started to define the rhythm of the night. And suddenly, the narrative expanded beyond support. It became about balance. A balance that doesn't demand attention, but naturally attracts it. And that's what makes it so compelling. Because in a space where attention is often chased, controlled, and amplified, something that exists without demanding it feels different. It feels real, even if its authenticity can't be fully confirmed. But just as the conversation began leaning toward that interpretation, another twist emerged, one that shifted the emotional tone once again. A longer, uncut clip surfaced. Unlike the shorter, edited segments that had been circulating, this one captured a continuous stretch of time. No cuts. No zooms. Just raw, uninterrupted footage. And within that footage, something changed. The rhythm slowed. The movements became less defined. And for a brief moment, the synchronization that had seemed so consistent appeared to fade. Kylie Jenner looked away. Timothée Chalamet adjusted his stance. They weren't disconnected, but they weren't perfectly aligned either. And that imperfection? It introduced something new. Reality. Because for the first time, the dynamic didn't feel seamless. It felt human. Unpolished. Slightly unpredictable. And instead of weakening the narrative, it strengthened it. Because perfection can be questioned. But imperfection feels honest. That clip has since become a turning point in how the entire night is being interpreted. For some, it confirmed that what we're seeing isn't a constructed image, but a real interaction, complete with natural fluctuations. For others, it raised even more questions. If the alignment can break, even briefly, then what exactly are we witnessing? A connection in progress? A moment still evolving? Or simply two individuals navigating an environment that amplifies every detail, no matter how small? No definitive answers. Only deeper curiosity. And that curiosity continues to drive the story forward. Because even now, long after the event has ended, the conversation hasn't slowed. If anything, it's becoming more refined. More analytical. More focused on the nuances that are easy to miss, but impossible to forget once they're seen. Which brings us to something that hasn't been widely discussed yet, but may soon become central to the narrative. The exit. Not the grand departure, not the final wave or last glance, but the moment just before everything ends. When the energy shifts, the crowd begins to thin, and the spotlight starts to fade. In that moment, as the night quietly moved toward its conclusion, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet shared one last interaction. No cameras rushed in. No dramatic framing. Just a brief alignment of attention. A look. Not prolonged. Not emphasized. But enough. Enough to suggest that whatever unfolded throughout the night didn't need a final statement. It didn't need confirmation or closure. Because it was never about a single moment to begin with. It was about the accumulation. The layering of small details, subtle cues, and quiet exchanges that, when viewed together, create something far more complex than any headline could capture. And maybe that's why it continues to resonate. Because it doesn't offer a clear conclusion. It invites interpretation. It leaves space for questions. And in doing so, it ensures that the story doesn't end when the night does. It continues, in discussions, in analysis, in the way people revisit and reinterpret what they've seen. So now, as everything settles and the spotlight moves on, one thing remains certain. This wasn't just another appearance. It was a moment that refuses to stay in the past. A narrative that keeps unfolding, not because it demands attention, but because it quietly holds it. And as long as that curiosity remains, as long as people keep looking just a little closer, one frame at a time, this story isn't going anywhere. It's only getting deeper. And just when it felt like the story had finally reached its deepest layer, another perspective quietly emerged, one that didn't focus on what Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet did, but on how the world responded in real time. Because while the night itself was unfolding inside a controlled, high-profile environment, outside of it, something much more chaotic was happening. Millions of viewers across platforms were reacting instantly, cutting clips, zooming into details, slowing down gestures, and building narratives faster than the event itself could progress. And in that digital storm, Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet became more than participants. They became symbols. Symbols of curiosity. Symbols of contrast. Symbols of a dynamic that doesn't fully fit into the traditional expectations of celebrity relationships. And that's where the intensity truly escalated. Because once a moment becomes symbolic, it stops being just about what happened, and starts becoming about what people believe happened. Within minutes, different versions of the same interaction began circulating. Some clips emphasized closeness, adding music, slowing down movements to highlight emotional connection. Others focused on distance, isolating frames that suggested independence or detachment. Same moment. Completely different narratives. And that contrast created a kind of tension that's rare, even in today's fast-moving media landscape. Because audiences weren't just consuming content, they were choosing sides. Some saw authenticity, pointing to the subtlety, the restraint, the lack of exaggerated behavior as proof that what they were witnessing was real. Others remained skeptical, arguing that in an era where public image is carefully managed, subtlety itself can be a strategy. And both perspectives gained traction, which only made the